I guess today we have a little bit of a different format because in our the last episodes we would like talk about one specific topic or one major topic, and everything would generally revolve around it. But today, I guess we're talking about different topics, things going on in the film industry, photography, social media, and lots of different things to discuss. So the first thing that we're gonna talk about is reels and the new form of content, short content creation, with reels on starting on TikTok and then moving to Instagram and and YouTube adopting it as well. Lots of things have changed, and now it seems like short form content seems to be the dominant form of content, right? These quick hits, quick short videos that people watch and skip through.
Yeah.
And also, we're gonna talk about what happened as a result of that for photographers and creatives.
Yeah.
Some of them, started moving to Twitter, and as well, we're gonna discuss some new upcoming gear,
Hmm.
like the Sony A7 Mark IV, rumors about it, and along with the Canon R3, which is gonna be released um, by September, I guess, or on September, the end of this year. And yeah. So, so yeah, I mean, Kai, would you like to talk about like reels
Yeah.
and like what's actually
So
happening with reels, and what do you think about it?
I was listening to the podcast of Lou Latter and Dave 2D, and then
Yeah.
Dave 2. I don't know for those who are familiar with Dave 2D. He's a tech YouTuber, and he mentioned about what he thinks about YouTube Shorts. Okay, so for those who are on YouTube a lot, you probably noticed that there's a lot of
Mm-hmm.
YouTube Shorts, which are the very short format of YouTube video, basically, and it has to be vertical video. Obviously, they are trying to fight TikTok, right? And these big social
Yeah.
media company, they are more and more aware of the rise of these short format content, and mainly because all of these young generation kids love it, so they are the main consumers of these type of format. So Dave 2D, he actually talked about why it is bad, and he personally didn't like it, which I kind of agree with him. At the same time, he said that these things are actually decreasing our what's it called, the focus.
Attention span.
Yeah, exactly, attention span. So for these kids, you have to entertain them in 15 seconds. If you cannot, then buy, and in some ways it's good because everything is just fast, you don't waste any time. But at the same time, these
Mm-hmm.
things can
Mm-hmm.
affect people's daily life, because if you just spend the whole day on TikTok trying to be entertained in a short amount of time, it's just like it will affect you in real life somehow. Even in school with
Yes, for
friends and
sure.
stuff, you're just expecting things very fast, you don't even want to wait for it. And so he talked about the good side and downside. I think it's inevitable, like, because people want
Mm-hmm.
it, companies are just gonna push this thing even more. And the way
Mm-hmm.
that this is gonna affect us, especially as filmmakers, which I want to talk about, is we probably gonna have to, as filmmakers, gonna adapt uh, this style eventually, even if we hate it. People say
Yeah.
TikTok is stupid, whatever the opinion is. It's just gonna be more and more people embracing short format content and the idea of giving the audience what they want in a very short amount of time. And so I think in a way we're gonna have to learn it, even though it's bad. I don't think there's a way to
Mm-hmm.
fight back. It's very sad. I think it's not a really good thing, but we're gonna have to do it. Even you and me, like, by the time we start to get more and more jobs, I actually start to see clients wanting a short format content from us. We have to shoot like, but in a high production value manner. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, if it lasts for a long time, if this format really takes off and continues over a long period of time, then I think we would have to adapt. Everybody would have to adapt, and everything would kind of become like Vine, you know, vertical, uh, short form videos in a vertical format, right?
Yeah.
And the thing is, I honestly, and I was talking with my brother about this the other day, and we were talking about exactly the same thing, like the dangers of this, because you're just watching this video that you don't even know anything about the creator of, and you don't know anything about, and it just, you get this dopamine hit, and on to the next one, and on to the next one, and it's kind of like a cycle, right? And obviously, I think it should have. I mean, it should have some downsides on psychologically, and it should affect your mentality, because you're getting this instant gratification.
Yeah.
And I don't know where this is gonna continue. The problem is that these videos are dictating the market, right? Because these people who want this short form content, or because it works, it's kind of controlling the market, and everybody would have to follow. Like TikTok came up with this format, and it worked, and everybody just followed along. Like you had Instagram coming up with the reels very quickly, and you had, you know, video coming up with YouTube coming up with shorts, and to me it's kind of weird, because YouTube is very much directed towards long form content. Like you go on YouTube to watch videos that are produced with some sort of quality, right? And for it to become dominated by these shorts, to me it just sounds weird, right? Because here's the thing: when you have like for these long form videos, you have people who are thinking about ideas, writing scripts, working really hard to produce something meaningful. But with short form content, I mean, you can do that, but I don't know if people actually take their time to do that. And so the content that you're getting out of both is, there's a bit of difference, right? You're getting ideas that are curated and thought of, and you're getting some sort of quality content with normal YouTube videos. While in shorts, I mean, from my experience so far, the majority that I've watched is very much, I don't know how to describe it, but it's not very ideated. It's not rich content, you know. It's just a quick hit, quick idea, and quick content. And I don't want to talk negatively about it, because obviously there are positives, that, like you mentioned, not wasting our times. I think that's a good thing, but also I don't know where the balance lies, right? If it gets too much, then obviously it's like too much, and it's not something that's
I don't know if you watched the
desirable at
Peter
this point.
McKinnon video. I think it was his latest.
Yes,
You saw him
Yeah.
talking about this, right?
the one about the coffee. Yeah.
So, but this is something that I've been talking about with my friend a lot. Is for us, you know, people who were about this long format and then transition into short format, versus kids who are born into this short format is very, very different. So the kids who are born into the generation of TikTok, they are born with the short format content. So this is what they know, and that's all they know about, right? They just want everything fast. But for us, it's like we have to transition, right? And the reason why some of us, I think, some of us accept this format of TikTok is because that it is not polished. Like you said, it looks like it doesn't have a high production value. And
Yes.
Peter McKinnon did mention about it. He said one that he shot with his phone actually got more engagement and views versus the one that he shot with the DSLR, and they're both the exact same content. So he did this test, right? He did the test. He tried to compare which one performed better, and the one that is obviously shot on a phone surprisingly like performed better, right? And so I think
Yes.
the reason
Yes.
is because when we see things that are polished, very well polished, and it's like beautiful cinematography and everything, for us, I think we immediately think that this is a commercial, because how we perceive, how we intake information for a decade. When everything is good, it has to be commercialized, and when something is
Yes.
look rusty, you know, it's shot on a phone and it's a bit shaky a bit. Oh, it has to be organic, it's raw because someone just shot it with their phone. It has to
Yes,
be
yes.
authentic, right? Authenticity
Yes.
brings out
100%, dude.
yeah
100%. Yeah, I think that's a very, very, very good point, and I think that everything, like I feel like people are tired of things that are of content that is really polished, things that we used to watch on TV, very big production sets with lots of people, and things are very polished. I think people are tired of that and want to see more of the raw, like you mentioned, authentic content that kind of allows them to connect with the creator. But also, I think that's a positive side of this short form content, which is um, favoring kind of authenticity and raw formats, and giving people opportunities. You know, not everybody is a filmmaker at the end of the day. And at the same time, I feel like it doesn't allow you to connect with a creator very much, right? Like if you watch podcasts of someone, you're listening for him, you're investing a lot of time with a creator, and in a creator, sorry, and it allows you to connect with him and invest in him much more than short form content. I think that's also one of the downsides, right? Because when you watch someone for a long time, you learn more about him, and he becomes kind of like your brother, right? That content creator. But short video format doesn't necessarily allow that so much, right?
That's so true, man. I actually haven't thought of it. That's really true, because I think when you present a short content, short content format, you have to be as entertaining as possible within that 15 second. So everything is well thought through, right? Like everything is
Yeah.
fake, not like fake, but like you thought of this every second.
Quick.
Every
Everything's
second
quick.
is
Yeah.
important. So they're not going to see anything extra. But as you said, if it's a
Yeah.
long format, you might see some, even some hand gesture, I don't know, some small things that represent what a person is. It will be shown
Yes.
in a long format content, but in the short one, they can fake everything within 15 seconds. It's not hard to fake yourself for 15 seconds, right? So I think
Yeah.
for short format content, in a way it looks more authentic, but a person can fake themselves even more than ever, because it's just 15 seconds, right? Whereas for long format, it's throughout the time, if you make content for many years, eventually people are going to know who you are in a way, not like fully, but I think that's a really good point.
Yeah, and I think also like a lot of people have been pissed off about it, including creatives who were dependent on posting stills, you know, like photographers, illustrators, because maybe they can't. Some of them are able to do that, but not. I mean, I've seen the integration of reels with photographers. It's really, I don't think it's there yet, you know, and the big photographers who are not good at doing reels, you know, maybe the old photographers, and are actually kind of like pissed off because Instagram used to be their platform to post photos, and now the CEO comes up and says, you know what, we're no longer a photo sharing app because there's TikTok and there are other there's other competition that are competing with us, and we have to keep up with them. And so they started to shift into other platforms like Twitter, for example, right? And I feel like Twitter now is kind of growing for photographers, and I've seen a lot of people started posting on Twitter more and more, and kind of not neglecting, but kind of like holding down on Instagram as their main app. And honestly, including me, I started posting on Twitter. You know, and the way it works is very different. So on Twitter, you don't use a lot of hashtags, and instead it's all based off interacting with the community, right? So you post your photos and you like others' photos, and when others retweet and like your photos, it's kind of his followers see it, and that's how you grow, right? Instead of hashtags. I think the growth is a little more difficult than Instagram, but I feel like once you pop off, then you kind of go huge, and you're not dependent on the whole feed on Twitter. You're just dependent on one post. So if one post blows up, then everything works out, you know. And on Twitter, the way it works is that you need to post multiple photos at once. You don't just post once. So if you watch, what photographers do is that they post kind of like a theme, like four photos next to each other that are very related in color and in theme, and they kind of all fit with each other, right? And that's the way to go for Twitter. right? It's kind of a group photos that create a theme.
Yeah.
And if people like this group photos, then they can discover more about you, you know. And I think it's such an interesting way to deal with photography. But I feel like it's more comfortable to me than Instagram, because I get to post freely, and I don't have to worry as much about the feed, but more about the photos, the single photos
yeah,
that I'm
right.
posting.
You don't have to worry about the grid, right? The like Instagram, you have to
Yes,
you have to have
yes,
a consistency, like the autumn feed,
Yeah.
winter feed, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, I haven't thought of it because I did saw one of the YouTubers
Yeah,
I
man.
follow called Olier. I don't know if you know Olier. He actually
I know about him, yeah.
he mentioned way back then, not way back then, but early on, that he wanted to post more on Twitter for photographies. And the thing is, honestly, I'm not really using Twitter a lot. I just follow other people. I don't have any Twitter followers. So for me, I think it's gonna
Yeah,
be really
same,
hard for me
same.
to grow
Yeah. Yeah.
as a photographer. And also, I think Twitter is starting to try to monetize their platform. I just saw it recently. I didn't know how long they've been pushing it, but I feel like as a photographer, if you want to grow on Twitter, you kind of want to think about what Twitter is going to give you eventually. Because as Instagram, you get a lot of followers, and then people is going to check
Yes.
all of your photos, because since it's a grid, they can scroll all the way down and see everything. But like you said, if it's just one post, what kind of benefit can it bring you if you blow up? So
Yes.
like as a photographer, you're gonna have to think about like the business side of it. What is it gonna bring you? Are you gonna just blow up based on one post, or is this like a long term thing? You know, people are people following you because of all of the photo that you've taken. So it's very interesting.
I think, yeah, yeah, 100%, dude. I think, yeah, the business side is very interesting, and I'm actually excited to see where Twitter goes. So I'm kind of playing along with it. I'm not taking it very seriously, but I'm just kind of throwing some of my photos every day, and I'm posting daily. Even on LinkedIn, if you noticed, I've been trying to post
I've
daily
seen-
on LinkedIn as
I
well.
post on LinkedIn as well. Yeah.
Because I have some, yeah. Because you have these photos and might as well share them on other platforms, you know. And if you grow, that's amazing. If you don't, you know, like, who knows? Like, it's always good to experiment. But I'm really excited to see where Twitter goes, because I feel like the algorithm is very natural. It's not so manipulated. I think, yeah, definitely Instagram is still the way to go, but I feel like Twitter is getting better, and the community. I mean, as long as the community shifts and decides to move on, then I think that's a good idea to move with them, you know, and yeah.
I'm gonna bring
yeah.
back to one last thing though. Like I think one thing, like back to the short thing, it's all about the algorithm though, because the people who are complaining Instagram, like a YouTuber like Chris Howe, he said that the likes that he had now compared to before is the exact same like amount. Okay, obviously you shouldn't care about the like, but for them, you know, there's other reason to be worried about it. He has more followers than before, but the like didn't grow or something, and
Yes.
I think it has to do with the algorithm.
Yeah, the reach is lower, kind of.
Exactly,
Yeah.
the exposure. But because TikTok, you just post one thing and you get like thousands of views within hours. And,
Yes.
and for photos, I think they need to think about how do you like improve the algorithm for photo sharing app. How do you let the photo reach the right people, right? And it's a bit different from videos, because videos are entertaining. You know, it can a lot of things can happen, but photo is just one shot. What can you do with just one shot? And you know, how can you analyze this photo and know that this photo is meant for a certain group of people? I think that's really hard. So they're gonna figure it out eventually.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. And yeah, also, yeah, I think we can move on to the last topic, which is gear. You know, I've been thinking about buying a camera recently, and I saw a lot of options, and I keep seeing options, and I haven't found the perfect camera.
Yep.
But hopefully, I will find the right camera soon. But like, obviously, like with the new cameras that are coming out, so there's the new A7 Mark IV that's gonna come out in September this year. And if this
I
year
haven't
come
heard
out with
about
the
it.
Canon R3,
I haven't heard about it. I'm very curious about the
Really?
specs. Yeah, you're gonna tell me about it, huh?
Yeah. So have you seen Gerald Undon's video?
No, no, I haven't seen it. Like I know the guy, but I
I
haven't
mean, he
seen the
released
video.
a video. I think, yeah. I think they were talking about it.
Mm.
But basically, it's an improvement on the A7 Mark III.
Mm.
And to be honest, what I'm excited about, you know what I'm excited about? It's
What is
10-bit. If they don't give us 10-bit, it's a problem,
Are
bro.
they gonna have 10 bit?
Because we need 10-bit. Bro, I was reading today an article and it said that it still had 8-bit. And I was kind of pissed off, bro, because the camera costs, it's gonna be released at a price of $2,500, you know?
What?
And if you're really gonna let me pay $2,500 for a freaking camera that doesn't have 10-bit in 2021,
Man,
I mean, come on,
you
Sony,
know,
what are you
even,
doing?
Even the
Come on.
iPhone 12 Pro can shoot 10 bits. You know that?
Yes.
That's
Yes.
insane, man.
Come
What
on,
the
Sony,
hell?
give us 10-bit. Yeah. And I mean, the XT4 has 10-bit for half the price, you know?
Yeah.
So the XT3 has 10-bit.
I mean,
come on, Sony.
If they want to make
So-
an 8-bit, it has to be somewhat cheaper or something. You have to have some compromise. You cannot have like a expensive price tag. I mean, it's obviously it's not that expensive compared to other camera, but they have to have
Yeah,
some
yeah.
compromise, right? If it's 8-bit, then you have to give something else.
For sure. Yeah, so I'm really excited about it. And at the same time, I really want 10-bit because if they don't add 10-bit, then honestly, to me, there's no difference between it and the A7 III because the A7 III is already good.
But
you know?
what else do they have?
So-
Anything different?
They added some like 4K capabilities, new features, but honestly, I don't care about all of that. I just want that 10-bit, bro. I want that color, beautiful colors, new Sony colors. That's what I want.
Oh man. Actually, if they have 10
Let's
bit,
see,
I would
let's see.
consider also. Actually, I would consider because I've been like praising how
It's
much
still
I
expensive
love
though.
my camera, but I wanted a full frame. I really wanted a full frame. I just
Yeah.
feel like it's
Yeah.
gonna give me more.
Bro, full frame is something else, to be honest. I really like it, honestly. Like, I think the APS-C cameras are good, the A6000 series,
Yeah.
honestly, but I feel like I just love full frame, man. I just really like it.
Like I'm so used
yeah.
to the APS-C, and then every now and then when I like start to use a full frame camera, like sometimes for certain jobs I have to shoot in full frame, I just feel whoa, this is like it just feel like I always know how much full frame
It's
has.
another world
Yeah, but it's just
out there.
because every time I go back to APS-C, I just get used to this narrower. I'm not saying that it's bad.
Yeah.
But yeah. It's,
Still, it's cropped, you know.